ourselves back to 2006. We're 12 kilometres from Letterkenny. This junction is about to become one of the most viewed in all of Ireland, and this is why.
70, 6 right, left, gravel, into 6 right, 150. Okay, right over crest and turn 2 right, narrow. Into 6 crest, 100. Jesus. 5 left plus over crest, tightens line into 3 right plus.
Colin McRae and Nicky Grist overshot this junction. They should have come up here, they went down there, and then they came up here.
50. 6 crest, 400.
That was lucky.
Aye, what's the story with it? She's really...
Locked up in the brakes.
But I mean, she's a bit light on the back end, isn't she, as well? She went sideways a few times. I could see you thinking, right, better keep the wheels straight here.
If only there was somebody that could help me analyse where Colin got this corner wrong. Somebody from Dirtfish, maybe an instructor. BK.
Hello.
Let's talk.
You see those little bit of bumps there, and it seems like as he came through, making the notes, you hear the call for that, I believe they said right too.
Yeah.
But just once they got on the brakes, they had just got a little bit of error with the rear end, and it potentially locked up the rear and spun them right around.
I think that even, I mean, the one point of reference in that, the onboard, is this junction here. Obviously it's taped and there's people in here, but I do think that Colin had lost it before he got here, because the speed they were approaching at and the speed he carried past the junction, the actual junction where he should have turned right, was pretty phenomenal. I mean, they ended up quite a long way down the road, didn't they?
And you see this is a bit dirtier than the main road. With that happening, there's going to be a little bit looser, more material pulled out onto the road. Going to make it a little bit more slick. This is where they broke, and yes, it was too late, but it was additionally slick.
But as well, the surface, and okay, of course the surface probably has changed in 18 years since 2006, but this is kind of typical of the roads that you're always going to get around here, where you do get a bit of moss gathering. Okay, it was pretty sunny and a dry day, but if there had been a bit of moisture in there, it makes them pretty slick, doesn't it?
Exactly, and when you think about where we are right now, we got the tree coverage, and that little bit of tree coverage helps hold that moisture in the ground. When that sun can't get to the surface, it can't get that moisture out. And I mean, you're seeing a significant more moss right here than we were, 20, 30 meters back where the sun's actually exposed to the road.
Yeah. One of the things that's quite marked for me is the atmosphere in the car. I'm sure, as great a driver as you are, BK, you might have had the odd spin, and I'm sure you and your co-driver weren't laughing quite as hard as Colin and Nicky when they drove back through this junction.
It's the thing where you're so focused for minutes. We're not early in the stage, we're minutes and minutes into it. They're so focused, they're going, and then all of a sudden that spin happens, and it's lost. There's a certain point where you're trying to catch it, but when they're going fully backwards,
it's gone.
They're along for the ride. And it's that moment where the car comes to a stop, you haven't hit anything, that tension is all of a sudden just gone.
Yeah,
and
the relief's there.
Exactly, and you have no choice but to kind of laugh at that moment,
But I think as well, it was kind of a mark of where Colin was in his career in 2006. He was doing this for fun. He loved Donegal. He'd always loved rallying in Ireland. He felt he'd never done enough of it early in his career. And that was what retirement for him was about. Was to come back and do these incredible, iconic events. And it was all about doing it with his mate in a car, an iconic car that he'd always wanted to drive. It was fantastic. And that moment of laughter, like you said, they realised they got away with it, but they just carried on the adventure. It was perfect.
And they even took a little souvenir with them, the tape that was blocking off the corner. They had the tape on the back, and that's the thing. Right about here, I've scouted it out all day, and I feel like right here, maybe on the other side of the fence is where the cameraman was, and the car slides through completely backwards, and then all of a sudden you see the car come around here with the tape on the back. And from the video and from the onboard, the video up here and the onboard, it doesn't really do it justice. It almost looked like from that angle that it was not so tight of a corner. This is a significantly tight corner, and this is just more or less the runoff road. Where before I'd always assumed that it was more of like a K that just happened to be there.
Yeah.
That was the turn.
This is more of a 90 than a K, isn't it?
Exactly.
Would you have had this as a right 2?
Depends. I would not say this is a 2. I'd maybe say a 3, but put some caution on it because it is a bit tighter. Tarmac, I'm not very experienced in tarmac writing notes. I've bought notes whenever I've raced here. So, David, I'm going to answer your question. That is exactly what has made this one of the most famous, most viewed intersections in all of Ireland. We
call them junctions, intersections in America. It has been an absolute pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be in Ireland. So stay tuned to Derpish's coverage of the Irish Tarmac Championship, and don't forget to watch our highlight show made with On the Pace Notes. Thanks for watching.